everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
Baby, you can drive my car.
And welcome back to Experts on Call. I'm Joanne Sutton with our experts from the insurance industry today. Patrick Magnuson and Carmen Monroy are here from Intact Insurance, along with Andrew Tablotny, our broker from Laguerre Pelling Insurance here in Richmond. Now, we're talking auto insurance on today's show and doing a bit of an Insurance 101. This is now for all three of our guests. I wanted you to be able to share some new information on how to get the best plan, the best value, and the best price, of course, and this is specific to Intact Insurance. So what can you tell us about this new My Auto offering that's in British Columbia?
Well, currently at Intact, we are offering optional Section C coverage, and Section C is the physical damage, so the collision and comprehensive perils for your policy or for your vehicle. And then effective January 1st, we're going to be expanding our offer into excess liability and excess underinsured motor protection.
You call that UMP, U-M-P? Underinsured Motorist Protection.
Yeah, that's the acronym.
Okay, before we get there, can you explain collision and comprehensive coverage?
Sure. So this is damage to your vehicle. So you're insuring your vehicle for the unforeseen losses that happen to it. So collision is basically when that vehicle hits something. That vehicle could be another vehicle hitting it. It could be that vehicle hitting a pole. It could be that your vehicle rolling over and hitting the ground. And then the other coverage is comprehensive coverage, which is basically everything that's not a collision. So fire, theft, lightning, hail, you're on a ferry and the ferry sinks, all those kinds of things. Yeah,
flood.
Exactly.
Flood, water, yes.
Yeah. So that's how the physical damage coverage is split up. So between those two, you're basically insured for most everything.
Okay, then more specifically, what are the coverage limits available for excess liability coverage and excess UMP, which is excess underinsured motorist protection?
Well, we talked earlier that ICBC provides mandatory coverage under third-party liability for $200,000 and for underinsured motorist protection for $1 million. So our excess coverage basically provides you options up to a total of $5 million. So when you have $200,000 as your policy with ICBC, we can do excess limits of $800,000 or $1.8 million or $2.8 million or $4.8 million. So basically, you're always going to end up at a nice round number of either a total of $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, or $5 million of coverage. But we'll provide that excess top up on top of.
Do they not offer those options?
They do. But then you're tied to ICBC, and I guess one of the advantages we've been talking about is our claims offering, as well as all of our additional coverage options and claim settlement processes.
You just offer more options.
That's right.
Okay.
The other great thing about this new product is they also offer the higher limits on the UMP. They'll offer up to $5 million in UMP. Back about 12 years ago, ICBC started offering an extra million, or they now call it extra excess UMP. Every policy now includes UMP. Way back in the old days, the golden days, you used to actually have to buy your UMP policy. It was a $20 policy, I believe, at that time. And then ICBC rolled that the first million, and so many people were buying it that they rolled the first million right into the policy. And now we're up to I think it's around 80 or 90% of people are actually buying the second million of excess UMP. As discussed in previous shows, I've always been a proponent of the umbrella liability policies, because that gives you the extra UMP coverage for the whole family. So if you buy a $5 million umbrella policy, you get the $5 million on the UMP. So Intact is now offering UMP coverage up to $5 million. And you may say, well, why is that important? Well, it covers you.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is it important? And can you give me an example of why I would need
UMP
it?
covers you. So if you're driving in Washington State only requires you to carry $50,000 liability coverage. So if you get hit by a Washington State driver, you would only get $50,000 for your bodily injury. Well, if you've got your whole family in the car and you're down in the States, that's not going to cover anything. That's not going to cover the ambulance ride to the border. So the UMP, I always say, God forbid anything happens to one of your kids. You're walking. I mean, we hear it all the time. People are walking through crosswalks and they get hit, and they survive. Well, what condition are they in? I mean, is your child going to require 24-hour service for the rest of their life? Well, that's going to be a real big bill, and that $2 million that's not a big dollar amount anymore. ICBC is now paying out 2 to 3 claims per week in between $2 and $3 million. So if you've only got $2 million coverage on your ump, that's the most you're going to get.
So this is why you would want to purchase the excess underinsured motorist protection.
It really puts. You're not relying on somebody else having purchased an adequate amount of insurance.
Right.
You've taken that control back in your own hands. You
Right.
said that if I get hit by somebody, I want $5 million of coverage. I can't guarantee they have $5 million of coverage. They may only have 50,000 in the U.S. or 200,000 here, or only $1 million. But I want to make sure that I have a pocket of $5 million to draw from. So you make that choice by being proactive and purchasing that coverage.
And what would be the example for excess liability coverage? Why would I want to take advantage of those options?
Well, there's a lot of stuff you can hit that will add up pretty quick. I think if you hit a school bus, there's probably 5 million won't even be adequate.
It doesn't have to be a school bus. I mean, as I said, go back to the example. You hit a small child in a crosswalk. I mean, if their life expectancy is 80 years, what's it going to take for 24-hour care for the next 75 years? I mean, the numbers are astronomical.
Okay, a lot of the discussion incorporates an insurance language that we're not all savvy to, unless, of course, we're educated in your industry, and UMP is that perfect example. So what other changes have been made in this insurance industry to help us as clients?
Well, one of the things that we've done and that we're quite happy with with our new January 1st offering is that we've changed the wording of our language, so they're written in a plain language that is very easy to understand. Being that they're contracts, there has to be a certain amount of legalese, but we've taken out all the the really big words, the wherefore to, thou shalt, whatever. I mean, all that is no longer in there, so it's written in very basic, plain language with examples. So that's something that we're really quite pleased with. It's made it much more accessible for our customers to be able to understand their policy. So
your policies have been incorporated into the layman's terms,
exactly.
Not legal terms.
Exactly, yeah.
I've even got an example here. Under loss or damage, we will not cover. What Patrick was saying, there's examples throughout the wording. So here's one nice and easy one to understand. We will not pay for a tire blowout in normal driving, but if the tire is destroyed in a collision and you have collision or upset coverage, we will cover that loss up to the value of your tire at the time of the accident. So much simpler than it used to be. It used to use words that your average person would, even me as being in the insurance industry, I wouldn't really know what it was saying. So it's much better now.
You'd need an interpreter.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's great. I know it's your product, the My Auto product, but what are the reasons that you would strongly recommend this for us just going into doing some basic research to learn more about it? What are the true benefits of My Auto?
Well, it's having additional options, like going back to the fact that, as a customer, I want a product that fits me and my family and what I need. And, Intact Insurance might be the option that you need, being that, for example, the underinsured motorist protection that we offer higher limits. That we offer higher limits for travel benefits if you purchase our expert driver package. What's really important is that you assess what you and your family needs for their vehicle insurance, and you go to your insurance broker and you see what options are available.
One aspect that I like about it is they've got this "We Believe You" policy. So if you have a claim and you say this is what happened, they're unlike a lot of other companies, they won't say, well, pay your deductible, we reimburse you. They say, okay, we take your word for it. Go ahead, get your car repaired. If the story changes, we'll be looking for you to pay your deductible back. So, the obvious one is you get rear-ended. Well, a lot of insurance companies say, well, you still have to pay. We got to wait to hear from ICBC because you got to report. The other guy has to report, and he could take 30 days to wait, and it tends to drag the process out. So, I guess Intact's perspective is that there's going to be situations where why do we want to slow the whole process down? We want to get you back on the road as quickly as possible. So we're going to take your word for it that that's what actually happened, and get your car done, and we won't be looking for your deductible.
Well, it's not actually called the We Believe You policy, is it?
No, but it is called We'll Take Your Word for It. So
close enough.
Yeah, and we want to let customers know that we trust them, and most importantly, we want a quick claims experience for people. That's one of the benefits of having different insurers to choose from, is to choose one that has good claims coverage or good claims service. And a big part of that, we have our claims service guarantee. So we guarantee that you're going to get the claims process started within 30 minutes if you call our emergency claims line. And then once you get in touch with somebody, we'll take your word for it. So we'll trust that what you're relaying to us is what actually happened.
I think the biggest point that we're hearing here is that there are options. It's not just that you have to go to ICBC and buy all of your optional insurance there, that you can contact the same broker that would do your home insurance, or...
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
It depends. It's obviously Intact isn't in every insurance broker's office, just like the other companies, the private companies that offer insurance aren't in every office. So,
but it would be worth asking.
Absolutely.
Well, if they don't, then then you may want to phone and find a broker that does offer options to see what the alternatives are, because sometimes there can be significant savings and or significant benefits in terms of additional coverages.
We'll take your word for it. It's one of
Smooth.
Intact's new programs. You're listening to Experts on Call, and for more details on the My Auto program we've been talking about, please visit the website intact.ca. Patrick Magnuson is here, Carmen Monroy, and Andrew Tablotny. They've got more to share on motorcycles and RVs. It's all coming up next on Experts on Call on CIL 650.
This is Experts on Call on CIL 650.